अनन्तं विभुं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं शिवं सङ्गहीनं यदोङ्कारगम्यं निराकारमत्युज्ज्वलं मृत्युहीनं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि.
The 15th verse says that Sharira Vak Manobhihi Yat Karma Prarabhate Naraha. Man, whatever work they do, they perform, applying their body, mind, and speech. What happened? Nyayamba Viparitamba. That is, it might be a proper or improper. Generally, Nyayam, when we say, we mean which is approved by the scriptures. And Viparitam is which is condemned by the scriptures. That means whatever they do, whether it is scriptural or not scriptural, it doesn't matter. Any action, panchaite tasya hetavaha. Any action is caused by these 5 elements. Whatever action, that is, people should not say that Shastriya karma is like this, or Shastriya is not like this. Those are not there. It is general action. Any action. What are the 5? Yesterday I said Adhisthanam, karta, karanam, prithak prithak cheshta, vividhascha prithak cheshta, and daivam cha atra panchamam. Yesterday in great detail I explained the Adhisthanam, particularly because it is not according to the translation. In Shankara Bhashya, he has used Adhisthana as the frame of the body. But that makes it a little incongruent because the next one is the Sharira Vang Manovirya. Moreover, this Adhisthana is the substratum of everything. And in the personality, the substratum is the what I explained yesterday as the Adhisthana Chaitanya. That is, we are functioning only when we are living and we have the faculty to know and decide. Then only we are doing the activities. So, when from 7th chapter I analyzed that 7th chapter, 4th and 5th verse, where he is saying that all the external items are my eightfold Prakriti, but they are the inferior Prakriti, only object Prakriti. Body, mind, personality, say in our buddhi also. That is resulting in our usual awareness, which we call as consciousness also. Don't forget that mirror example. What we are generally calling the consciousness or awareness is the reflected beam of the mirror. If the mirror becomes opaque, then that will not be there. But that will not affect the original light which is being reflected by the mirror. So whether we fall unconscious because of any accident or something happening in our body, or we die, both the cases, that Chidabhasa or the reflection or the Adhisthana Chaitanya is not there. So naturally we will not be able to function as a personality because as it happens that we become unconscious, we are not able to function. So that Adhisthana Chaitanya is the actual Atma, the true transcendental Atma or consciousness or Brahman, which is appearing as small in association with the body. So that is the basic, that Adhisthana of the body, on which the whole body is functioning with this. What are the other items? Karta. Karta means that egotism, that is ahankara. There also I explain in detail. It is not ego, generally is the hub of the personality. If the ego goes, then we will not be able to function again, because that is correlating all the signals. Everything is, there is a hub of the personality which is correlating the memory with the future. Everything is being done. So physically there is nothing wrong with that ego, the hub of the personality. But we posit an I-ness with that I have done this, I have done that, I will have to do this, I have to do that. That posited imposition of that special personality over there, which I consider to be I, that is called the ahankara, and the trouble is there. So this karta as far as this is concerned, this karta is generally we refer to with the egotism, that is I feeling in us that I am doing this, I am doing that. Without that feeling, we will not do generally anything. We will do when it becomes a knowledge that the prakriti is functioning in me as the three gunas and all. So it will be a natural function of the prakriti. Then karanam cha prithakvidam is all the instruments like the 5 sense organs, the 5 organs of action, then mind, buddhi. All are karanam, means instruments of action. Without them also we will not be able to act. Vividhascha prithak cheshta, that is the vital energy, the life forces. Generally our Shastra scriptures, they explain the life forces as the various activities. One is prana, which is drawing the breath from outside, and it is very much related to breath. Suppose you stop your breath, the life forces will go. Without the breath, life forces will not be there working. So in which is taking the input, which is throwing out the air, which is spreading the nutrition all over the body, which is keeping us stable, all like that 5 pranas are defined. So that is why he said Vividhascha prithak cheshta, that is all these different vital forces, life forces. Daivam cha atra panchamam, and the providence, that is the 5th. That element in any work will be there. Suppose I am going to do something, suddenly I die. We did not know, suddenly some accident takes place and you die. So Daivam is always very prominent everywhere. We might have planned for many things. Suddenly flood came, or suddenly earthquake comes, everything falls. So Daivam is operating everywhere. That is why we say that when the Daivam is conducive to our work, it can be done. Whatever we may do with these elements, the 5th element is very important. Without the support of the 5th element, we cannot do anything. He says that Sharira Vak Manobhiryat, by the body, mind and speech, whatever a person does, these 5 are the cause of that. They are making us do. Is it okay? Tatra evam sati, tatra evam sati, tatra evam sati. Being that, this is what it is. So tatra evam sati means being that. What is happening? Tatra evam sati kartaram,
Evam sati kartaram,
atmanam kevalam tuyaha,
atmanam kevalam tuyaha,
pashyatya krita buddhitvat,
pashyatya krita buddhitvat,
nasa pashyati durmatihi,
nasa pashyati durmatihi.
tatra evam sati, yaha tu kevalam atmanam kartaram pashyati, akrita buddhitvat saha durmatihi na pashyati. This is the prose form. What is it? See, since it is like that, kevalam atmanam, this kevalam means this kaivalya bhava, kevala, that means it is the shuddha atma, that means the atma not associated with body, mind, personality, anything, which never changes. That is the real atma, the pristine atma, which is the same as the Brahman. As we had explained yesterday, the consciousness ultimate. That is called the kevalam atmanam, kevalam atma, kevala atma, kevala atma. That means the shuddha atma. So he says that the shuddha atma, which is not getting changed at all by any of our actions, either with thought, analysis, or physical action, or the pranic action, vital action. This Atma is never getting touched by anything at all. But one who sees the Atma as the karta, which Atma? Which is never doing anything, never getting touched by anything at all. It is not doing anything, it is not active at all. It cannot be, because it is a subject. Any action has to be in the objective level. Action means there is a change. You have to know the change. The Atma is only revealing the change. Any change has to be in the objective level. This has become clear. So he says that akrita buddhitvat. That means the buddhi has not been purified and trained to see the truth. That is true of all of us. That is, buddhi has not been purified to see the truth. So he is using akrita buddhitvat. Only he has used, I don't know why, a little harsh word, durmatihi, he has said. That means all of us are durmatihi. Sometimes they do. They say that if you have not known the Atma, then you have committed suicide. All of us have committed suicide. Because why? Because he says that that is the real identity for us. And if we have not trying to know that, or we have not known that, that means that Atma is not existing for us. The real Atma is not existing for us. So that is the real suicide. Sahi Atmaha. So he has said that a person who sees this Kevala Atma, that is Shuddha Atma, which is not touched by any change, any action, anything, which is not getting entangled with any of the changes. A person who sees that Atma as the karta of everything. That is why we are saying, I am doing, I am doing. You should be able to relate that the ego, that I, we are saying, I am the karta. Who is doing? His buddhi is not Samskrita. His buddhi has not been refined, trained and sharpened, or so that it can see the truth, have the enough discrimination. Nasa pashyati, that means he doesn't see properly, he doesn't see the truth. Here lies the whole thing. Because the next statement is very drastic statement. Yasya naham krito bhavo
Yasya bhavo
buddhiryasya na lipyate hatvapi sa iman lokan nahanti na nibadhyate. He says, if we are able to get rid of this ahankara, that I associated with the body-mind personality, which is doing its function, buddhiryasyana lipyate. Lepana means ajnana, means delusion. Whose buddhi has not got any delusion, whose buddhi is free, is pure, free. Yasya naham krito bhavo buddhiryasya na lipyate. One who is freed of the egotism, and whose buddhi does not have any lepana, means is not deluded at all. Hatva pisa iman lokan nahanti na nivadhyate. If he kills all these people, then also he has not killed anybody, and he doesn't get bound by his action. Normally when any killing is there or anything, suppose a policeman also, military is not so much, but policemen, often they torture the criminal or not criminal also, by mistake they do. So generally they will have later on lot of pain and repentation that what they have done if it goes wrong. Not only police, the rajas in Yoga Vasishta, there are many stories. Because a good king will have to administer properly. So for that the criminals have to be punished and the good people have to be rewarded. So a good person, very good, sympathetic, loving king will not be able to give capital punishment, because he will think what will happen to his wife, what will happen to his family. All these problems will be there. Now if the king does not punish the criminals, then what will happen to the country? The criminals will rule over the good people will suffer. So the king has to do his duty. Not only that, sometimes the punishment may go wrong. And those days it was not like the case will go from the lower court to high court to Supreme Court, and after 20 years the judgment will be given. By that time the criminal has died also. It was not like that. The ministers will come, the report will come, the spies will report. Right then and there, king has to take a decision, and the Jallada will have to cut off the head. It is right there. And suppose he has done it wrongly. In Kerala, there is a story about it. A wrong punishment administered. The king will almost become mad there. Mistake, I have done it. So, actually, that Yoga Vasishta, 2 kings like that, they left their kingdom, not being able to bear the torture of their work. This is why it is called Ghora Karma. Ghora Karma means it has lot of difficulty in administering. Even military work is a Ghora Karma. Because Ghora means No. Ghora means terrible. It's a terrible karma. So, even if Arjuna, what he is going to do, it's Ghora karma. So, why he is saying also that Krishna, why are you, if Buddhi Yoga is sannyasa and the jnana is the ultimate, why are you engaging me in this Ghora karma? In the first chapter it is there. So, the king left the throne, and both of them were wandering in the forest. One happened to meet a saint, a rishi over there, a sage. So sage inquired about his problem and all. Finally, he started staying there, getting his instruction, etc. Finally, he became free, that his mind was absolutely free of all that. And he went back and again started ruling the kingdom. The story says that the other person, after a long time, he came and he met his friend and found that he is ruling the kingdom again. So he is asking, how are you back again? What happened to you? Then he is narrating what happened. The story goes like that he went to the sage, and what did the saint say? Then he gives the message fully. So, in Bhagavad Gita also it is said that the rajas were having this knowledge, because a good king will not be able to rule the kingdom properly without this knowledge. They will not be able to do, because they were very good king, thinking about others. The standard of justice in our country is you can administer a punishment to a person when you feel more pain than the punished. Samajh mein aa raha? So God can punish people because God is more pained than the punished by punishing somebody. You should understand the dimension of God. Like that, a true justice, a true judge should be more pained than to whom he is administering the punishment. Samajh mein aa raha kya? Hindi mein bolna hai. This is the standard of our judgment. And it was so. That is why the kings needed this knowledge, because they have to have that universal love as well as the impersonal dimension by which whatever to be done they could do. Even the most beloved grandfather had to be killed, he killed. He could not easily. Arjuna was not immediately, he was not. Twice it happened. Once he was not throwing anything at all. The proper arrows were not being thrown. Finally Krishna came down and started running. He said that tumse nahi hoga. He told Arjuna that tumse nahi hoga, hum unko marenge. He came down from the chariot and ran towards Bhishma with the Sudarshana Chakra. Seeing that, Bhishma immediately started worshipping him. Oh, do I have the fortune to die in your hand, oh Prabhu? Please kill me. See, this is the dimension of the people they are describing. But by then Arjuna came running and fell at his feet that you don't have to, because Krishna had promised that I will not take weapon. But he has no qualms in taking up the weapon also. My vow will be going wrong. I have to kill. They have to be killed. Not that I have to kill, they have to be killed. For that, if I have to violate my vow also, I will do it. So finally Arjuna did. So the kings were able to rule properly. Our kings were called rajarshis. In Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna is saying that this knowledge was the treasure of the rajarshis. But with time, the power corrupts and the kings got corrupted. That is why the situation before Mahabharata, the situation has arisen where the kings do not have the knowledge and they are doing wrong things. So we have to set right the situation and put the rulership of the country in the hands of the knower kings, like that. He mentions that. So, yasya nahankrito bhava buddhiri yasya nalipyate hatvapi sa iman lokan nahanti na nibadhyate. That he is neither killing anybody nor he will get bound by the sinfulness of what he has done. That sinfulness feeling also will not be there. Now, this doesn't mean that one has to kill all the people. It's eulogizing the statement of the state of knowledge is being eulogized. See, even Arjuna was not able to kill Drona. I mean, they were not able to kill Drona and Bhishma. It was not easy for them. Krishna had to do many things in the process. So, it is an eulogizing statement that even if he has to kill the whole world, it doesn't matter. That impersonality, the dimension of the impersonality, level of the impersonality is such that he can do. That is what he is saying. Don't try to kill anybody. टेस्ट करने के लिए कितना हमारा impersonality हुआ है देखने के लिए किसी को मार डाला. It's not to be tested like that. So this completes one section. Now they are coming to. Now here you should remember, don't forget that this Adhishthana, karta, karanam, prithakvidham, that is all the instruments of action, the life forces and the daivam, the providence. These are the causes of all the actions going on. So we have to know that the Atma is not getting touched by any of the things. It is transcendental. What is getting modulated, touched by this and changed is the abhasa of the Atma in our buddhi, the chidabhasa or the Adhishthana Chaitanya, which is associated with the buddhi and it appears to be changing. There we consider our I to be that. It's just like, as we said so many times, that the waves are there and the moon reflection is there. Waves are moving, so we are thinking that the moon also is dancing, going, becoming half changeful. Like that, this Chidabhasa also, the reflection of the true Atma on our personality, Adhishthana Chaitanya or Chidabhasa, you call it Jiva also. So that one also is appearing to be changing with whatever the body and the personality does. Just like when we are unconscious, it appears to be dead. But then nothing happened to the real Atma. So if we associate our identity with this, then we are changeful, we are body-mind limited personality, we are going up and down, we are changing here, we have done something sin, we have done something good, etc. But if we transcend that and identify ourselves with that light, which is reflected by all the beings here, everywhere that light is working as the Chidabhasa of the different people. If we identify with that, that does not get touched by anything. Now when we have this universal dimension, that transcendental dimension, then what happens? There is no question of doing anything wrong, because all the wrongdoings, all the selfishness, greed, fear, everything is coming from our small identity. The moment we start thinking that I am small, we run after things, we run away from things, we have greed, we have desire, everything. So don't think that this identity, if it is there, it is a universal identity, then will he not do the wrong things also? Where is the cause for doing wrong things? Because all those selfishness, greed, etc., which are coming from the smallness of our identity, they are not there anymore. Still, you can do something apparently Ashubha or so, which will, from outside, it may appear to be Ashubha. That is only thinking of the final goal. Otherwise, there is no reason that he should do anything wrong, because he has identified himself with the impersonal Atma. This Kevala Atma is very important here. That here Kevalam is there, na? Tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tu yaha. Kevalam atmanam. That Kevala means the Shuddha Atma, which does not change at all. Even when a person becomes a knower, that his state is called Kaivalya Bhava. Kaivalya. That means he doesn't have any partiality, any preference, prejudice or anything. He becomes pure. It is also called Kaivalya Navanita. That is, what are we doing for getting butter? We are churning first. We are using the, what do you call it, the saja in the milk, that curdling the milk. We are putting an initiation in the milk. You hear this properly. It's very good illustration. The milk is there. You are putting a small amount of curd into the milk and allowing it to settle. To settle, you have to keep it undisturbed. Suppose you go on disturbing and take milk from there and go on serving, then curdling will not take place. It has to be kept away for settling properly. This is Ramakrishna Dev has identified with the, after the spiritual initiation, the sadhaka has to remain isolated to make the initiation work properly and get it consolidated. Now, after the curd is there, we churn the curd. Go on churning till the butter starts floating over there. If you put the butter as a lump there, you will find that the butter no longer gets mixed with the milk. It remains in the milk, floating like the butter. That is how, when it is churned in the society. Suppose you have been given the spiritual initiation, you have done your meditative sadhana and all, and you have got settled about it. But then you have to be brought to the world, and all the world churning will take place. Sukha, dukkha, everything. Through that churning, the knowledge will get perfected. So that when you become, the knowledge gets perfected, there is no question of mixing it again with the world. You will remain in the world without becoming worldly. So it is called Kaivalya Navanita. That this knowledge is called Kaivalya Navanita. Navanita means butter. The Kaivalya butter. What is that shloka? It's not coming to my mind. Correct? That ragadvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyeshcharan atmavashair vidheyatma prasadam adhigacchati. Ragadvesha viyuktaistu. When you are freed of the raga and dvesha, vishayan indriyeshcharan, he is behaving, when the ragadvesha is taken away, dissolved, he will behave in the same world with his same indriyas. Vishaya indriyeshcharan, Vishayan indriyeshcharan. He is interacting with the same world. But how he is interacting? Atma vashair. His viveka buddhi is always anchored in the Atma. So he is not Vishaya vash. We are always slave to the objects. So we are Vishaya vash means we are under the control of the objects and objective situation. In his case, he is under the guidance of the Atma. Atma vashair. So he is, through Viveka Buddhi, he is anchored in the Atma. Vidheya Atma. Vidheya Atma means discipline. What kind of discipline? It's an internal discipline. So his whole being is disciplined by remaining anchored in the Atma. Prasadam adhigacchati. He attains prasada, the placidity of the mind. Although he is working in the same world with the same sense organs, without getting affected by he gets freed of the worldliness. The world remains the same. So we have to understand that nothing is wrong with the world. Nothing is wrong with our sense organs also. All the problem is with our mind, which is suffering from raga and dvesha. And the buddhi following that, everything that. So this is the meaning of tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tu yaha pashyati akrita buddhitvat nasa pashyati durmatihi yasya naham krito bhavo buddhir yasya na lipyate hatvapi sa iman lokan nahanti na nibadhyate. This 18.17 generally we compare with the 1.44. That is where Arjuna's statement before getting the message from Krishna in the first chapter, 44th verse, he is saying that Ahovata Mahat Papam Kattum, 43 some book, in my book it is 44, 45. Ahovata Mahat Papam Kattum Vyavasita Vayam Yat Rajya Sukhalobhena Hantum Swajanam Udyataha. That we are about to commit one of the greatest sin, that for Rajya Sukha Lobha. This is the important point here. For the greed for enjoying the happiness out of kingship. It is foolish statement also. King's life, a good king's life is never happy. It's like a crown of thorns. But he is saying, as if becoming king, I will become very happy. Not only that, he is fighting. How does he know that he will win the kingdom and then become happy? All the foolishness is there. The delusion is completely there. He is thinking that we are going to commit a sin because why are we killing our people? For the greed for enjoying the kingdom. That was the statement. That was his mindset. And now what is Krishna saying here? If your mind is free of the ahankara, the ego, and your buddhi is free of the lepana. Lepana means the delusion, the sangha, the kartritva bhoktritva, katri bhoktri bhava. If the buddhi is freed of this lepana, taint, then even if you kill all these people, you will not be sinful at all. Now, Yudhishthira became very sinful. His whole body was burning from sinfulness. Because when he discovered that Karna was his elder brother, and they had to fight and kill his elder brother. Normally they will leave the kingdom to the elder brother. So he repeatedly says, if I had known, I would have given him the kingdom. Why should I fight? But Kunti had concealed that Karna was his elder brother. Now, this work, Yudhishthir became absolutely, he started feeling so sinful and pathetic about it that nobody could console him. Even Krishna could not console him. Finally, Krishna suggested you go to Bhishma Pitamaha and speak to him. He will console you. Yudhishthira said that I cannot go to him. I am so sinful. What I have done, after that I cannot see his face. Okay, you come with me. I will introduce you. So took them, and then comes from Bhishma the Shanti Parva, one of the longest chapters. Everything is there in that Shanti Parva. So Yudhishthira had that sinfulness, and to overcome it, he listened to Bhishma for a long time, and then Bhishma suggested that you do Ashwamedha Yaga, which will take 1 year of preparation and all, to get rid of the sorrow he was suffering from. He was burning with the sorrow. Then Yudhishthira asked that for a king we can do the Ashwamedha Yaga. What about the ordinary people when they commit sin and they suffer like this? Then he suggested the Vishnu Sahasranama. That is why from Mahabharata the Vishnu Sahasranama comes. Actually what is being done is that this, everywhere it is causality. What is its sinfulness? Some causality, the gross causality we can see. Is it not? Everything, if the electricity is there, the sound is getting expanded. Amplified. But there are subtle causalities there. This sinfulness is a causality, that mind thought in a manner, and because of whatever happened, it is the effect of that. The mind is suffering from a sinfulness. This is also by causality. So what we have to do, if you go on suffering like that, the suffering will continue. To free the mind, what we do is we introduce another event there as a cause, which will annihilate or neutralize the suffering. See, even the astrologers, when they suggest that this yaga to be done, that yaga to be done, it is to introduce a new cause. By doing the yaga, you will start feeling better. It is all to do with the mind. Don't say that it is all foolish. They are very clever way of doing it. That the mind is suffering a causality. Mind is a subtle element. You do something by which the mind will generate some new events which will have its own effect, and it will neutralize the previous strain of causality. Like that, everything is being done. Even the Shraddha is like that. All these religious things are devised in this manner. We will go to the next section, 18th. Jnanam jneyam parijñāta
Jnanam jneyam parijñāta
trividha karma chodana
trividha karma chodana
karanam karma karteti
karanam karma karteti
trividha karma sangraha
trividha karma sangraha.
Karma chodana means mental impulsion for work. I don't know what they have translated. It is something like that. Mental impulsion for work. It is a motivation, you can say. Motivation for work. Or mental impulsion for work. Karma chodana. Now, where from this impulsion for work is coming? He is saying jnanam jneyam parijñāta. This is the threefold impulse for work. Jnanam. Jnanam means some knowledge, something. Jneyam means whatever to be known. That jnanam is related to jneyam, the knowledge of what? And parijñāta, the knower. These three, he is saying, is the impulsion. How is it working? Suppose you know that there is something very nutritious. There is a drink which is very nutritious. Now, this drink is the jneyam. The quality of the drink, the nutrition of the drink, that has to be known. And when you are coming to know, it is operating in your mind, in your knowledge, in your intelligence, that you know that it is nutritious. You are the parijñāta, you have to take the decision that because it is nutritious, I would like to take. This is true anywhere. And when you have taken, again it becomes a jnana, knowledge. All the work, finally when the work is done, even while it is done also, it ends in the knowledge. Because whether you have done or not, it is a memory in you. Even when you are doing also, it is your mind who is knowing. Suppose the mind becomes defective, he will do everything and say that no, I have not done anything. He will take the medicine and ask for the medicine again. In old age it happens very often. Otherwise also it may happen. That is, our operations are depending on something to be known, then knowledge about it, and as a knower taking the decision on the basis of the knowledge. Suppose immediately you say that no, it is not nutritious, it is visham, it is poison. Then you will not take it, immediately you will not take it. Everything is guided by knowledge, and the knower has to take the decision about it. These are the mental impulsion for work. And he says that karma sangraha, that is the constituent of action. Sangraha means whatever is constituting the action. That is also three kinds. Both are three kinds. What is that? Karanam karma katteti. Karanam means the instruments of functioning. Karta means, karma means the action, whatever is being done. And karta. Karta means the doer who is thinking that I am going to do. Now here you see that all are actually within the fold of ajnana. This knowledge, jnanam, the karta is thinking that I have to do. I have known it and this is it, I am going to do. He is not thinking that it is taking place by nature or everything like that. And karanam karma karteti, that functions are done by the karana, the instruments are doing the function. So is any correction necessary for the instruments? Normally not. They don't have any ego or anything at all. Even the karma, the action, as you go forward, we will find that the action, although they are defining the action can be sattvika, rajasika, tamasika, actually the way they have defined is how the action is being done. Say it is studying, it is an action. Now with what mindset one is studying, that will determine whether it is sattvika, rajasika, tamasika. So actually it is referring to the karta only, the mindset. As such, the karma by action, there is nothing is happening. So an action, you cannot blame it or aggrandize it, nothing is wrong there. It is just an action, phenomena of nature. Like that, the instruments of action, they are also nature. Our buddhi has to be applied, our mind has to think, our indriyas have to perceive, the karmendriyas have to act. These are all nature's work. There is no ego involved, nothing is there. It's all phenomenological. Phenomenological means it's just happening in nature by the natural forces. There is no identity associated with that. But they will define here next the knowledge and karma and karta. Karma, I said that although they are discriminating the karma as sattvika, rajasika, tamasika, it is actually not. The karma is karma. In what mindset, with what mindset we are doing, that will determine the sattvika, rajasika, tamasika. And the knowledge and the karta, these two will have the sattvika, rajasika, tamasika. Why knowledge will have it? Because the knowledge will make all the difference. Suppose you are putting the bricks in a mason is working there. Somebody asks that, what are you doing? Don't you see I am putting bricks? Okay. The next mason, he asks that, what are you doing? I am putting bricks because I am making a school. I am working for the contractor. He has given me the job. I am doing it. Third person, oh, you don't know. In this village, there was no school at all. Our children and all never studied at all. Now somebody has thought about it and they are putting up a school. I am going to participate in that making of the school where our children will all the village children will become educated and the society will improve. See the vision 3. It is the knowledge. The knowledge is putting the bricks. But because of the person, the knowledge is altogether different. One has a comprehensive vision, one has a part vision, another is only involved in I am laying the bricks, nothing more he knows. Sattvika, rajasika, tamasika, according to that. So that is what they are now going to do. After determining that these are the motivation, the mental impulsion for work, and these are the constituents of an work, now they will go to define sattvika, rajasika, tamasika. Why? I have already explained over the last few days. We have always to see the sattvika because this sattvika guna will transport us to the transcendental level, that it will take us to the reality. So knowing which is the rajasika, which is the tamasika, which is the sattvika, we have to always opt for the sattvika. That will take us to the nirlepa bhumi. Jnanam karma cha karta cha
Jnanam karma cha karta cha
tridhaiva guna bhedataha
guna bhedataha
prochyate guna sankhyane
guna sankhyane
yathavat shrinutanyapi Guna Sankhyane. This is again Sankhya Shastra, that is Vedanta only, but where they are discussed these 3 gunas. That is called the Guna Sankhya. In Guna Sankhya, Jnanam, Karma and Karta. These 3 are defined with respect to the 3 gunas. That is 3 kinds of knowledge, 3 kinds of action, 3 kinds of doer. These are the definitions. Prochyate, it has been defined, guna sankhyane yathavat shrunutanapi. As it has been discussed in the Sankhya, listen from me that. He is impersonal about it. He is not saying the nishchayam shunume tatra. He is quoting from the Sankhya Shastra. So first he is taking up jnana. Sarvabhuteshu yenaikam
Sarvabhuteshu yenaikam
bhavam avyayamikshate
bhavamavyayamikshate
abhibhaktam vibhakteshu
avibhaktam vibhakteshu
tajnanam viddhi sattvikam
tajnanam viddhi sattvikam
sarvabhuteshu yenaikam.
Sarvabhuteshu yenaikam.
You should try to remember this verse, because while acting, performing, if you remember this, it will correct your action. Because these are, you don't think that these are only necessary when we are interested in self-realization. Entire Bhagavad Gita, everything spoken of, will be helping in our any performance throughout. It is not that we have to realize the self. Walking on this path will make our life happy, fulfilled, and also always expanding. There is something called normally our motion is cyclic. That is, every day we get up, throughout the day what we do, we go to sleep and again get up. There is no progression. It's a cyclic motion of life. What Bhagavad Gita does is change this cyclic motion into a progressive motion. That although the cycle will be there, but the cycle will go on the path. That is what is happening. It is not a steady chakra moving. It is moving on the path. Cycle, then external cycle will be there, because you have to sleep, you have to take food, you have to go to the market, you have to wash, everything will go on. But through everything there will be a progression. So all these things will introduce an impersonality in our being, a very universality, a very large universality in our being. The more we progress, this will grow and grow, expansion in our being. So that even in loving somebody, doing something for somebody, bringing up family, teaching somebody, everywhere the life will become more lively. Life will become more lively, progressive. So he says that Tadjnanam Viddhi Sattvikam. That knowledge is called Sattvika knowledge. Which knowledge is Sattvika knowledge? Sarva Bhuteshu Yena Ekam Avyayam Bhavam Ikshate. See, Ikshate I have been telling you again and again. Ikshana. Ikshana is the vision of Buddhi. It means seeing, but it is not seeing with the eyes. It is seeing with the Buddhi, intelligence and mind. He says, Sarva Bhuteshu, in everything. What is that everything? Everything is fragmented, having different color, different characteristics, all are different. So normally that difference will constantly prick our mind. That is why there will be preference and prejudice. This person I like, that person I don't like. Oh, you come. The other person, we will not say anything, better that he doesn't come. All these things will happen because we are always stuck by the fragmented vision of the world. He says, Sarva Bhuteshu, in that all differences, in that all Vaichitra, the knowledge which allows us to see, which makes us see what? Ekam Avyayam Bhavam Ikshate. Ekam, that one, that unity in diversity. He sees that knowledge makes us perceive the unity in diversity. Ekam Avyayam. Avyayam means unchanging. That is, what is unchanging behind that? That consciousness or Atma or whatever you see. That means although everything is changing like the waves of the sea, but our dimension will be the sea dimension in which all the waves will be held. Suppose I am having dukkha, suffering, and I get so attached to the suffering that I am not able to bear it. Now, if we really think that what is this suffering? It is a wave in my mind or consciousness. Similarly, happiness is a wave in my consciousness. Can I not just see them? Experience them. The suffering also we can experience, the happiness also I can experience. That is the avyayam bhavam, that we see that everything is a formation in the same thing. So avyayam means unchanging and ekam means one. Abhibhaktam vibhakteshu, that things are fragmented, but behind that, this knowledge will tell you that everything is unfragmented. It is a whole. Even when we become selfish or so, should we not think that the moment we are coming out of our home, we are stepping on the national property, we are stepping onto the road. As I am living, for that, when I am using the clothes, the food, are we thinking about the cultivators who have produced the food, who have produced the clothings? Where are they? How are they? That feeling is not there. But this seeing the abhibhaktam vibhakteshu will give you an overall universal love, which will make you think of everything. In giving also, gifting also, we become so harsh and rajasic sometimes, even in our dana satra also. If we think about them, that are we not very great, should we not be grateful that these people are there to take? If the whole country improves a lot, then we will not have the occasion to give. Now, given the bad condition of the country, we have an occasion where we can share things also. Similarly, suppose a businessman, he does some business. Should he not think that it is what I am doing is actually a sharing with the society? Any business is a sharing with the society. That what I am producing, suppose I am throwing some effluent just to increase my profit, I am throwing the poison into the air. That air, will it not be taken by my children and my grandchildren also? They will also breathe in the same air. So by increasing profit, I am accumulating more money to be given off to my children who have already developed cancer because breathing the polluted air. Is there any point? These are all comprehensive way of thinking. So sattva guna is always, it will introduce comprehensiveness in us. So that this partition behavior, the partial behavior, preferential behavior will be smoothened out. So it is not a question of finally knowing the self. It may, but even if it is not there, it will improve our life quality, it will improve our society. Everywhere there will be benefit out of this expansion. Because it is the real picture of nature. Nature, everything is bound to each other. Everywhere, even a molecule cannot exist without being tied to the other. In a crystal also, all the molecules are tied in a certain manner. Even in the space also, all the planets, all the stars, they are bound to each other. Everywhere there is interactional harmony, there is a bondage, there is a binding. So a comprehensive view is very important in any walk of life. He says that abhivaktam vibhakteshu, that this gives us a wholesome knowledge, comprehensive knowledge, in spite of the fragmented nature of the world. So it will be a long-term welfare knowledge also, we will be able to see. In Kathopanishad, towards the end there is a shloka, Yathodakam shuddhe shuddham asiktam tadrigeva bhavati evam muner vijanata atma bhavati gautama. Yatha udakam, udakam means water. Shuddhe shuddham asiktam tadrigeva bhavati. Suppose there is a pond of pure water. You are pouring pure water in it. When you pour it, are you able to find out where my water has gone? It has gone mixed with the purity. Like that, evam vijanata munehe atma, vijanatah munehe atma evam bhavati. When a person knows the truth of his identity, his soul, who has known the Atma, his Atma becomes like that. In that Brahman or the consciousness, his identity gets completely dissolved in the same manner. In second chapter of Bhagavad Gita also, to last but one verse. What is that? Apuryamana pratishtham samudramapaha pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamahayam pravishanti sarve sa shanti mapnoti na kama kami. He says that in the sea, so many rivers and nalas and drains and everything are coming. And after they meet the sea, what is happening? They have all become the sea. Even if it is Ganges water, it becomes the sea, Bay of Bengal also. If it is a drain water, filthy sewer water, that also becomes the sea. Everything becomes the sea. And by the constant coming of the water, the sea doesn't overflow. And by constant evaporation because of the sun rays, the sea doesn't get dried also. It remains stable in its own dimension. It holds, it retains the waves, sometimes huge, sometimes small, depending on the climate. It allows the vapor to go and complete the cycle, that the cloud will take the vapor, they will become cloud, they will either come down as the snow or as rain. Then from there, the river will be replenished by that water. The river will flow. In the process, so many people will be benefited. Animals will be benefited. The forests will be benefited by the flow of the river. If the water remained with the sea, nothing would have happened in the society. It is that allowing the water to go and completing the cycle that everybody gets benefited. Apuryamana machala pratishtham samudramapaha pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamahayam pravishanti sarve sa shanti mapnoti na kama kami. For him, what happens? All the desireful objects are so. They flow just like the rivers, they flow unto him. Whatever comes, he lives on that, he enjoys that, whatever to be done. He enjoys suffering, he enjoys happiness, he enjoys everything. Sometimes suffering is brought, he will enjoy the suffering also. Sometimes happiness is brought, he will enjoy that also. Everything in the same spirit he goes on doing. So, sa shanti mapnoti, he attains peace, na kama kami. Not the one who is running after the desireful things. If you run after the river, then the sea doesn't say that, oh Ganges, you are very pure, let me go away with you. Or the drain, oh you are so filthy, let me come away from you. The sea doesn't do that. Everything it accepts and does its job. Similarly, the other one is just after that is Yathodakam durge vrishtam asiktam tadrigeva bhavati evam dharmyam prithak vidvan tadrik. That is when the rain falls on the peaks, mountain peaks. It flows in different directions, different way. And it gets dried also here and there. Like that, one who is completely bogged down to the differential vision, they don't see the unity at all. Their efforts, their everything, it flows a little and then gets lost in the dried in the process. It doesn't become what he says is, doesn't become a river which will meet the sea. Yathodakam durge vrishtam parvateshu vidhavati evam dharmyam prithak pashyan tadrigeva vibhavati. Something like that. It's towards the end in Kathopanishad. Not end, by chapter. So, sarvabhuteshu yenaikam
सर्वभूतेषु येनैकम्
भावमव्ययमीक्षते
भावमव्ययमीक्षते
अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु
अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु
तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकम्
तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकम्
पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ञानम्
पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ञानं
नानाभावान् पृथग्विधान्
नानाभावान् पृथग्विधान्
वेत्ति सर्वेषु भूतेषु
वेत्ति सर्वेषु भूतेषु
तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम्
तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम्
One who sees everywhere the differences, that is, even the Atma also they see one Atma in this body, another Atma in that body. So they see the differences. When we see that the identity is segregated like that, naturally some are me and mine, some are others, some is my enemy, some is my friend. All the differential notions will come. That is the Rajasika tendency. Such knowledge is Rajasika knowledge. I will again explain tomorrow. Yattu kritsnavade kasmin
यत्तु कृत्स्नवदेकस्मिन्
कार्ये सक्तमहैतुकम्
कार्ये सक्तमहैतुकम्
अतत्त्वार्थवदल्पं च
अतत्त्वार्थवदल्पं च
तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्.
तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्.
What kind of jnana is tamasika? That he is saying. That various words he has used. Kritsnavad ekasmin karye saktam ahaitukam. They will, of the Rajasika is seeing the variety and running after this and that and all. And Tamasika, because of their inertia, one thing they will hold on to. Of all the things, one thing they will hold on to. And is there any rationality in holding on? No. And that might be absolutely a trifle, something not very great or important or anything. Whatever gets attached to their brain, they will hold on to that. Ahaitukam, without any reason, without any rationality. Atattvarthavad, it has no real truth in it. Alpamcha, it is trifle. So of all the things, they will hold on to one and go on doing that. That story, do you remember that cat tying story? That in one ashram, this is only a story, but I mean, may not be a story, it might be a fact, but there are many facts happening. The ashrams are a treasure house of different things. So there won't be any dearth of illustrations, but generally we are not able to remember. That one sadhu's hermitage, he was taking satsang. When he used to take satsang, the cat used to say mew, 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 mew. So always he used to create problem. So he said that you tie the cat. So they would come and tie the cat near wherever the satsang is taking place. Then it will be sleeping there. Our cats in ashram, they were not tied also. They will come to the satsang and sleep there. And generally on Swamiji's lap. Those who are a little respectable cat, they will jump onto Swamiji's lap and sleep there. So we used to spread an asana for them, because the dhoti will become dirty. So the cat could sit there. So generally we say in the ashram, suppose in the satsang when somebody starts sleeping, we say the time has come to become brahmacharin. So they used to tie the cat. Now what happened is that days passed, that sadhu departed, sadhu left his body. The next generation of the disciples, they were running the ashram. The cat also had died. But they were always tying a cat. What is the reason? They said that our Gurudev said that whenever there is a satsang, a cat should be tied there. So when the cat died, they brought another cat to tie there. That died, then another cat to tie. Generation after generation, one cat is tied there. And that was like a extreme secret knowledge. तो spirituality के साथ कुछ secrecy भी तो रहना है ना. Mysticism, that the cat is tied in the satsang. So this is what the tamasika buddhi. He tied the cat because it was causing problem. And they started hiring another cat for tying there. This is the tamasika knowledge. Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nityabodhasvarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanush pranomi prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nityabodhasvarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sanusmarami pranomi. The shloka is, it is 4.14 in Kathopanishad. Yathodakam durge vrishtam parvateshu vidhavati evam dharman prithak pashyan tanevanu vidhavati. This tanevanu vidhavati was not coming to my mind. The next one is Yathodakam shuddhe shuddham asiktam tadrigeva bhavati evam muner vijanata atma bhavati gautama. Shall I take 2-3 minutes? There is a question. But the fellow is not come today. Is it there, Binayak? No. Anyway, this is okay. ठीक. Yes. But not because of any accident. It is a natural procedure. Even in Samadhi, what is happening? Samadhi that has got merged with the original, so that separate reflection is not there. But in Samadhi, what is happening is that Buddhi is still active, the mind is still there. They are not functioning. Just now the legs are not functioning. All the faculties, they are awake, wakeful, but they are not moving. So they are able to know what is happening. Deep sleep and Samadhi are almost the same, only one is the wakefulness is not there. Another, the wakefulness is there. Now, when we call the wakefulness, it is because of all the instruments. The buddhi has to be wakeful. It is not just the chidabhasa. In sleep, the buddhi is sleeping, the mind is sleeping, the body is sleeping, everything is not awake. That is the difference. No. See, in sleep is not, buddhi will not function. Even if I show you something, opening your eyes, you will not know. Everything is asleep. But there, the condition you know. Suppose the deep sleep, the condition you were able to know, then that itself would have been sufficient for us to know the self. The difference in the samadhi is that you are able to know that it is the pristine state of the consciousness, when there is no world reflection, nothing. Whereas in deep sleep also it is similar. But because the buddhi, and there is nothing to register what is happening, the registration is not taking place. Even unconsciousness also similar, the registration is not taking place there also. Samadhi, you can say we are aware of the awareness, that you can say, but that is only another way of saying rather. There actually you don't know anything. The consciousness reveals itself. Later on you are thinking back.